A beautiful Wednesday to you, and thank you for joining us on the Women Series program today, where we capture developments and stories that impact women. My name is Ayomide Oguntoye. Today, we want to talk about renewable energy as an alternative to sustainable electricity in Nigeria. We understand that energy plays the most vital role in the economic growth, progress, and development, even as well as poverty eradication and security of any nation. You'd also agree with me that uninterrupted energy supply is a vital issue for all countries today. I mean, the situation in Nigeria is no different, coupled with the high cost of fuel in the country. And now, as we look to several sources to end the intractable power supply crisis, one major area that can be explored is the renewable energy. Today, we are considering opportunities for the growth of the renewable energy market in Nigeria. I mean, how renewable energy can become a sustainable electricity alternative. Joining me virtually to have this conversation is the CEO of Salpha Energy, a Nigerian provider of clean and inexpensive solar energy. I'm speaking with Sandra Chukwudozie. Hello, Sandra. How are you doing today?
I'm pleased to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. How is work? How is the weather?
Well, the weather is raining, but we have to keep on pushing. It's
Right.
a 365-day affair. It's not, thing.
Right. Very, very, very. I mean, it's one. That's why we're even having you virtually today. We're really hoping to have you on site today, but we could do with this. Yeah, so let's go straight into the conversation today. Today, I want to talk about how renewable energy can become a sustainable electricity alternative in Nigeria. Now, we understand that renewable energy, often referred to as clean energy, comes from natural sources or processes that are constantly replenished. Is there more to this we need to know? I mean, as a form of introduction, is there more we need to know? And most importantly, what inspired your venture into the renewable energy space?
Okay, so I think there's so much to know about clean energy, but it's important to have a basis for that knowledge. I think in the 21st century, as an African person, we can all admit that energy is a human right because you need energy to perform any basic task that you want to do, from your home to your work, and even to have productive living. And so the most important thing when it comes to clean energy is to look at the history of energy. And that history has to do with the past. What do we, how do we create energy primarily? And it's through fossil fuel. And the challenge with fossil fuel is the fact that it has a connotation of being very dirty. And it's not just dirty that it's polluting the environment with harmful emissions, but it's the fact that it also has a lot of geopolitical tensions attached to this energy. And so what that means is that energy doesn't reach people who is supposed to impact, but however, it's used to serve people at the top of management, people who have their aims that are linked to, exploiting it for their own personal gain, right? Their countries, their pockets. And we know the stories. If you look at lots of African countries, you see that, for example, in Nigeria, you have a country that's able to produce oil and gas, but it's not able to empower its economy. So when we come to clean energy gives us a move away from that kind of mindset into one that is inclusive. The biggest thing with clean energy is that the whole world has come together and realized that it's important for us to lift people out of energy poverty, because in the world today, we have over 1 billion people across sub-Saharan Africa that don't have access to clean energy, right? And with clean energy, the goal is to reach those who are furthest behind in energy access, right? Because we know that the world is going towards a cleaner and more sustainable way of doing things. And that is a new paradigm. This is what people at the United Nations, the global leaders, they have come together to say that we need to form goals that ensure that we are providing energy that is clean, sustainable, and affordable and modern for everybody. So this is the mindset of energy, and this is what inspired me to do what I do. Because for me as an African, how do we build the Africa that we want, right? And that Africa points to the problems that are plaguing the nation. And for me, I chose energy as one that I wanted to solve. I wanted to bring this affordable energy to everyone to be able to access it for whatever need that they had to use it for, be it your home, be it your business, and even be it enterprises as well, institutions as well. How do we ensure that we are leapfrogging our dirty past of fossil fuel?
Right.
Not sure.
Yeah. So, I mean, this speaks to the fact that you are a solution provider, and it also speaks to the Sustainable Development Goal 7, I think, yeah, which is affordable and clean energy. And now you lead Salpha Energy, a Nigerian provider of clean and inexpensive solar energy solutions to homes. Now, how will you describe the business environment, especially in Nigeria, and the opportunities for scaling across the nation? I mean, you've spoken widely around Africa, right? The sub-Saharan Africa and the likes. Now, let's bring it home. Let's talk about Nigeria. How would you access the business and, I mean, in relation to that?
So the environment for doing business is a bit tough, especially in Nigeria. We all know that as a business, you end up taking on some public sector jobs like, providing your own power, providing your own infrastructure. When it comes to even transporting your goods to different parts of the states. But that's on one side. When it comes to our industry, the most difficult thing is acquiring the customers, because customers are used to, having to pay for their products, for their diesel or their petrol on a pay-as-you-go basis. Right. So they would have a generator and they would fuel it as they need to. But when it comes to solar, you're paying for the appliance that uses the energy from the sun to then power your home. And it's a very big investment. And so what then happens is that we begin to educate the customer on why they should, and why solar is actually cheaper compared to diesel or petrol, by breaking down the cost of how you spend petrol or diesel every day, month, or year. And it actually shows up that when you actually invest in solar, you actually save almost that same amount of money within a year. You recoup that money within a year, as opposed to diesel. That's on one side, part that. The other part is, for example, these customers that are energy poor are actually off-grid in rural areas. It takes a lot of money to go and reach those customers who are furthest behind. And so what ends up happening is that you have a lot of OPEX when it comes to driving your motorcycles down to these end users and then, collecting money from them, even providing them with some sort of service as opposed to credit financing, right? Because these customers can't afford to buy a entry-level solar home system of 30,000 naira. They'd want you to break it down for them in installmental payments for 6 months or a year. So that collection of payments from them every month is a challenge. However, the beauty of what my company is trying to do is that we're trying to ensure that we educate the public on why solar remains the best option, not just in terms of saving money, but also for the environment as well. And a particular instance as to how this is being, projected is in the institutions that we as solar begin to power. The way we see solar is that we, as a company, are trying to be your energy partner. So what that means is that at every level that you're at in your energy journey, be it someone that needs lighting for their laptop, their TV, or their fan, we want to ensure that we're bringing your appliances under solar. And at the end of the day, as you grow your energy usage, we ensure that we help you transition upper and upper and upper the energy ladder. So that is what we try to do as an organization. And the beauty of solar is not just for residential or commercial purposes, but the fact that we are seeing a lot of solar proliferation across the nation. For example, during the COVID-19 pandemic, there was a lot of use of solar to power those primary healthcare centers. And it just speaks to the fact that this energy is very important and it's very life-saving, it's very transformational across different industries. And so I'm really pleased to be in this industry.
So you have touched on the challenges, and I love the fact that you've highlighted the challenges and how Salpha Energy has been able to overcome some of these challenges one after the other. But when you assess these challenges today, from low generation to distribution and the issues of transmission, renewable energy definitely provides an alternative to addressing the deficits, which we find ourselves in. Do you believe that the industry has made a strong case for massive off-grid solar power solutions and investments?
Absolutely. The industry has made a very strong case for that because the challenge still remains that we have over 25 million SMEs that don't have access to electricity. And what that means is that even when you go for the alternative, which is diesel, you are incurring a lot of costs on what you do. And so what the promise of solar gives is that we are unlocking the ability to be able to use energy at a very affordable rate. And that is why a lot of money has gone into solar in Nigeria. For example, we have a lot of initiatives powered by the World Bank, the Nigerian Fusion Program, which is poised to be able to ensure that solar companies are unlocking energy demand in industries like education, in healthcare, in industry like farming. So, for example, the use case would be how can we bring in solar to power a school to ensure that we have students who are able to access the full breadth of energy? How are we able to, put in solar in primary health care so that women who are in maternal care are able to have access to energy? I mean, for goodness sakes, we have women who do not even have access to light when they're giving birth. It's that basic and rudimentary. And it still comes down to the fact that energy is a basic human right. And it's really unfortunate that at this level, as a giant of Africa, that we're still struggling to provide power to our over 200 million population in Africa. So it's a no-brainer, and a lot of countries in Africa are keen into this. You have Kenya, you have Uganda, you have Ethiopia, and lots of them have keyed into all these solar energy opportunities. And I think it's high time that we do as well.
In Nigeria. We're hoping to see more of that in Nigeria. But last year, your company received a $1 million investment from Olon, a Shell-backed impact investing firm. Now, will you describe this as a game changer for your business? I mean, we've talked about investments and how funds or finances is a challenge, is one of the major challenges, right? Now, how has this helped in scaling up business in Salpha Energy?
Okay, so I mentioned earlier that the challenges with having a solar company in Nigeria is fundraising, right?
Yes.
So before that time, the issue that we had was that we weren't able to raise enough funding to help us take our company to the next level. So what that meant was that we had to bootstrap the business, meaning that you make sales, you get the money back from the customer, you buy from your supplier, your profits are now used to sort of grow your company. And what happens is that you end up growing very slowly. And something like inflation can easily erode your growth trajectory. So we're in a cycle. We couldn't grow our customers. We couldn't even reach new distributors. We couldn't even go to more geographical spaces, maybe like the Northeast or Northwest, things like that. So with this funding that came from Olon, it unlocked our ability to move, to reach more customers, right? Because currently, and initially, we had over 350 distributors while we were bootstrapping. With the funding coming from Olon, we're going to 5 times that number. You can imagine, and we're going to go into the whole geographical space of Nigeria. These are massive opportunities for us to be able to reach people who are furthest behind. Even apart from that, the most important thing for Salpha, apart from the products that we sell, is our team members. How are we unlocking Nigeria or Africa's talents? How are we hiring the best people? How do we train them? How do we empower them financially to be able to be stakeholders in country's development? That's something that the funding from Olon has actually done for us as well. And I think coming back to companies like Olon, it's important that when we invest in Africa, we invest in Nigeria, we're investing in those local entrepreneurs who have the ability to solve those problems, because most times the funding may go to foreign-owned companies. What about people like you and me who have lived in Nigeria growing up and have seen the challenges and are hungry to solve those problems? Is the money coming to people like us? So I think the funding coming to Salpha is not just about us, being able to scale our business or being able to hire talent, but it's also being able to inspire young people that you too, if you have an idea, if you have a goal in mind, that you can actually pitch this and raise funding that you need. That's the bigger picture for us, and it's really exciting.
Well, that's quite impressive. And one other thing that I find very impressive is the fact that you made the Forbes Africa 30 on the 30 list of leading entrepreneurs. Congratulations on that. How do you feel about this? How do you feel about this feat?
Honestly, I have to just say that I'm deeply proud of myself. It just goes to show that a humble and young Nigerian woman like myself that really works hard can really represent what it means to be an entrepreneur in Nigeria. And also for my team as well. We're a team that is very humble in what we do. We are a startup, and for us, the simple goal is to empower people. It just shows us that we are seen, we are heard, and it gives a massive validation to us. But not just to us as well, but also our industry. What our industry, the solar industry, is one that's always overlooked. It's seen as the junior to the oil and gas industry. And it just shows that we are making a difference. We're making a difference. It's young people in this team. It's young people who have the ability to really bring in that change. And even as a woman, it just shows us how the world is changing, how women now have a seat at the table to be able to really push the agenda for Nigeria, the agenda for Africa, which is to transform the way that we do things. And I think it's a moment of pride. I could really go on and on, but I'm just overwhelmed, and I use this platform right here to even ask young people who are doing similar things to please apply for this Forbes Africa 30 under 30 listing, because it really helps not just to promote what you do, but also helps you take stock of what you have achieved in your own humble beginning. You're not too young to really make impact, and that's what I love about this accomplishment.
That's fine. Now, to wrap it up, I mean, you've talked about women empowerment, and we love to see that on here. How can you, I mean, as a person, help to enhance or harness this industry by bringing in more women or female entrepreneurs into the renewable energy? I know that you've mentioned that you're a team of young people, but I want to believe that we also have women that are probably looking out to do something different. Something, I mean, your industry is quite different. Something different as opposed to buying and selling, or they want looking at something like this. How can you help them? How can you help people to harness this and bring them up?
Thank you. So, as a woman, you're a person. And what that means is that when you're trying to do something that impacts people, you need to look at yourself. What is a challenge in your country that is really bugging you, that you feel that you want to solve? It starts from there. You're not doing something because you want to be recognized or you want to have fame and fortune. You're doing it because you really have a nagging desire to help people. Believe that you can solve that problem. Believe you can solve that problem. And what it does is that it helps you to have a mindset of being able to break through. Because in Nigeria, where you find yourself, the biggest challenge is that you're not just fighting against your self-belief, we are fighting against people who don't believe in what you're trying to promote, right? So that's the most important thing. Self-belief, being able to just on an individual level, finding out what you're here to solve. And thirdly, I would say having a good team. I think it's important to know that if you want to move fast, you move alone. But if you want to move and achieve massive scale, you move with people. How are you a person that can inspire people to work with you to achieve a bigger vision? It calls to leadership skills at any level. You're not too young to be a leader. How are you ensuring that you're able to sell the idea to a team of people who can help you actualize what you're trying to reach? I think these are the key fundamental things as a young woman that you should be looking at. You're not, I don't want women to see themselves as, oh, I'm a woman, I'm limited. You are a person. You are a soul on a mission to achieve a divine purpose. If it's not, you're a very unique being. So it goes beyond your gender, but it goes far into your hearts. And I think that's my message for women.
As a way to wrap up this conversation, a key takeaway for me would be that you mentioned that energy is a basic right for every human being, right?
Absolutely, it is. Yes. It is, and we cannot compromise on that.
Yeah, thank you. And that'll be all for this episode of the Women Series program. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to reach out to me, you can send a mail to ayomide.oguntoye@proshare.co. Follow us on all our social media platforms showing on the screen. And until next time, thank you for watching.